welcome back to the LinkedIn Logs, the Jobs and Business News Podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the Jobs and Business News Podcast for the website company.com. Go there. Listen, I'm sorry. I know I just messed up the intro to this show. If you're watching the video, you did see me noodling around on my phone, and I was definitely trying to turn the TV down. I didn't want to get up. I already pressed play on the theme song, and here we are. Hey, it is the end of my work day, and I just had two sets of interviews, not two different interviews. I had two sets of interviews for a TV show. So I will be putting that out, Jesus, in like 2 weeks, I think, at this point. September 9th is when the show premieres. So I'm guessing, I think next week. I don't know. They'll send me the video files. When is the reviews are embargoed? I don't review. September 2nd. So at some point after that. I was looking forward to that. I'm not going to talk about it. I'll talk about this. Today I was watching The Simpsons while I was making my lunch, and it just so happened to be Sunday Cruddy Sunday. I believe that's what it's called. Sunday Cruddy Sunday, season 10, episode 12. That is a Super Bowl episode, rather, from whatever season 10. We're coming into 38, so whatever that was 28 years ago. Probably a February episode. And one of the guest stars of that episode just so happened to be Dolly Parton. And so I watch the episode. I go to the pool for about 30 minutes, and I come back upstairs, and I check my laptop. I check the work laptop, and I check C Plus Comedy's email. And guess who died? I killed Dolly Parton. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry that happened. That's what I get for going to the pool in the middle of the workday. I can do that. Nothing was happening. Welcome back in. Hey, let's get to this. So hold on. I have to close. I'm returning something to Rogue, to the video game, to the God, what's it called? They make fitness stuff, and I was returning something, and I left all that stuff open. Also, I am vamping so that I can get to this first story. This is from Wall Street Journal. Let's see if I can pull this up here. It is a podcast episode. Wall Street Journal's What's News podcast. It is. If you listen to NPR's Up First, it's the same thing. It's a daily episode of a daily show that has stories up to like 10 minutes. It's like a recap of the news or whatever bullshit. Anyway, they put out a story last week that I thought was interesting. It's something that I've always been complaining about. State lawmakers try to crack down on ghost jobs. I did link to the episode via Pocket Casts. So if you use, you know what? Here, I'll change the fucking link in the damn thing. How do you do that? Control A, Control V, WSJ. Boom! It's changed. And they have an AM edition, is a PM edition. But yes, it's the same thing that I was complaining about when I was on LinkedIn. If you recall, I did pause my LinkedIn account. The host of the episode is Alex Osala, and the reporter for the news is hold on. They don't have Lauren Weber. I thought I was wrong, but Lauren Weber is the one who wrote the story about ghost job ads are getting so bad that lawmakers want to ban them. So let's get into what ghost jobs are. Ghost jobs are the jobs that are posted to Indeed, Glassdoor, ZipRecruiter, and even LinkedIn that are supposed to be jobs, but they're just jobs that are just basically there to take up space. I'm currently reading through the transcript. The same ad can be up or recently reposted. It's the same thing I was seeing when I was at Warner. Well, when I was looking for jobs at Warner Brothers Discovery, and prior to that, Warner Brothers. Before, during, and after working there, 2 different jobs. In a few states, lawmakers are trying to do something about it. Lauren Weber covers workplace issues for The Journal, and she basically said that what she found out was lawmakers have passed a bill and sent it over to Governor Kathy Hochul, where they are basically trying to fight against the ghost job posts. Is a bill also in Pennsylvania? Remember, I am reading the transcript. Weber spoke to the state legislator who introduced that bill earlier this year, and she asked him where it came from, and he said that part of the impetus for the bill was that he has 3 kids who are looking for jobs right now. So it's again, they're trying to fight against having these ghost jobs, these recruiters posting these fake jobs that don't exactly exist, because not only are we fighting against these fake jobs that make it look like these companies are hiring, because that's really what it is. These companies are trying to make it look like, oh, we're taking in more people, we're ready to hire more people, when in actuality they're not. We're also fighting against artificial intelligence. What Weber thinks is that employers are trying to be on the safe side when fighting against things like tariffs and artificial intelligence. They post a job in case they suddenly need to fill it, even though they maybe will or maybe won't. And on the other end of the spectrum, job seekers, us people, we feel like it could be data harvesting, maybe so that they can have our resume and take the information itself and then just use that information against our wills. Alex Osala asks, if the bills become a law, can they solve the problems? And Lauren responded very aptly, it's difficult. We don't exactly know. There are enforcement mechanisms that are put down so that companies can't spam this type of stuff. But then there are like including like fines for companies that don't take down their job ads, if they're filled or if they're fake or whatever. So whether or not there's money for that kind of enforcement, it's unclear, because the effort takes effort and funds. But the idea is to give employers, Weber continues, a sense that there are consequences for putting out these ads for jobs that they will never fill and dashing the hopes of many job seekers. And, if you've never been in that position, and I hope you're not, it feels bad. It feels bad to like see a job that you are perfect for. Like, let's pretend I see a job for producer at, I'm going to choose a company. Let's say Netflix. Episodic producer, episodic TV show producer. That is a made up job that I don't think is real. But hey, anything's possible. Episodic producer at Netflix. It's online. Is that what it's called? Work from home. And they pay you $100,000 per year. And what they want is exactly what my resume says, is that we want you to have producing work for 10 years, and you have to have experience in Avid and Premiere. Yes, they do ask for multiple editing platforms. That's not an over-exaggeration. They ask, like, a lot of companies want to know if you can work in like DaVinci Resolve, Premiere, and Avid. It's crazy. If you know Nexus, if you can do this, you can do that, and it's a crazy thing. And to that end, when you match up with all of those qualifications, then you go in and you tailor your cover letter, you tailor your resume for that job. And it sits in there, and the job was posted yesterday, and you sit in there for a week, 2 weeks, a month, 3 months. You think, how many people can fit this exact description, and then also I'm not being asked back for an interview or whatever. Then you get an interview, but it's going to be with an AI agent. And then the AI agent doesn't give you any feedback or anything, and you have no one else to reach out to. So you're just up in the air. It's bad. And finally, this comes from The Wrap because I saw it there first. Written by AJ Katz, Washington Post ordered to reinstate Karen Attiah after firing over the Charlie Kirk posts. If you recall, Karen was one of I will say probably a handful of people who were fired because they said something that was mildly, about in reference to Charlie Kirk. Bye. Okay, saying bye to the work job. To the work job. And this is great news because she, along with I believe a professor, and this is months ago, were brought back to their respective jobs. But Karen Attiah must be reinstated by the Washington Post, and this is the best part, receive back pay after an arbitrator ruled the paper lacked sufficient cause to fire the opinion columnist over her social media posts following the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. And yet, if take into account who owns the Washington Post, Jeff Bezos, and he's over there sucking off Donald Trump. I'm sorry. This is not the Constitutionals. I can't say sucking off on LinkedIn logs. But then I think about things like this that happened, and you look at people like Scott Jennings, who are still employed by CNN, and he's acting quite the fool over there. And you can say he's a right-wing commentator. He's employed by CNN. He's supposed to be that way. No, he's not, sweetheart. And he has his sweetheart. Arbitrator Sarah Miller Espinoza found the Post, quote, did not have good and sufficient cause to terminate Attiah and failed to establish that she engaged in, quote, gross misconduct, according to a decision obtained by the New York Times. She was fired in September. So she hasn't worked, at least for them, in a year, at least 11 months after posting about Kirk's killing on Blue Sky. Attiah is smart. In a statement, she said, this decision confirms what we've said from the start. I was doing my job as an opinion writer, and this was wrongful termination. Like, this would be like if, who else is an opinion writer? Who else has written an opinion piece? Larry David said something on, because he wrote something, remember, he wrote for the New York Times, he wrote that one thing about Nazis, I think, on the New York Times. Hold on, let me, Larry David... New York Times. His op-ed was, my dinner with Adolf. Oh my God. I can't believe I remember this. This is from April 2025. Larry David, it was the dinner that, who had dinner with Trump? I don't remember who had dinner with Trump, but I definitely remember who like this happened. Anyway, but it'd be like somebody who works consistently for the New York Times opinions pages, getting fired because of an opinion that they said not even at work or for work. Attiah told the Times that she was, quote unquote, willing to go back to the Post, which she called, quote, one of the world's most storied newspapers. But I think also the Washington Post, for what it is now, especially in the past year, has been whittled down to nothing. Like, why I don't even check out the Washington Post, and I'm somebody who will woefully pay for most subscriptions. Speaking of subscriptions, I'll get back to this in a second. I was doing yoga today. I had to push everything up. I was doing yoga today, and I was taking an instructor who was no longer at Peloton. Her name is Kristen McGee. I think she's a fantastic instructor. She's wonderful. She does not talk down to the class like a lot of people do at Peloton. Don't get me started. Anyway, I was taking one of her old classes that are still up on the platform. And then I went, oh, I wonder what she's up to. And I know for a fact that ever since she left Peloton, she started working with Tonal, which is a similar platform to Peloton, except they have a cable machine instead of bikes and treadmills and all that stuff. And she also has her own platform. And I don't know what it's called. But anyway, I went to her Instagram, and then I see she's, health. She has a lot of healthy posts. She's posting a lot healthily, I guess. I don't know. And then I went to her website, and I was like, I wonder how much her subscription costs. Now, there are a lot of Patreons, OnlyFans, YouTube member subscriptions, Substacks. I welcome people trying to earning money for what they love to do without having a big boss overhead over them. For Doughboys, you pay $5 on Patreon. You get an extra podcast, ad free of the regular podcast as well. So you get two things. I pay for Never Not Funny, another podcast. You get 3 podcasts with them, and some other stuff. There's a woman who used to work for Bon Appetit, if you remember that magazine, that's still going. But after she left, there was a lot of issues there. After she left, she started a Substack, and I get the free version of it, but you can pay for that. What's her name? Joanna Stern she left the Wall Street Journal, and she started her own thing, and you can pay for that as well. I get the free version. But what I'm saying is everybody is getting money in their own ways. I do think that we have come to a point where everybody is trying to make their own money in their own way and be their own bosses. And it's also colliding with regular subscriptions like Netflix or Disney Plus or Apple TV. And everybody is tired of subscriptions. I say all that. I look at Kristen McGee's, you just heard the sous vide machine turn off. Or it's still going, but it chimed in. It says, hey, your chicken breasts are ready. I looked at Kristen McGee's website. And she, for her platform, where she is putting out Pilates and yoga, the same stuff she did, and I guess meditation, the same stuff she did at Peloton, it is $30 a month, which is more than Peloton for app only. That is insane. And I understand she's curating this and making this stuff on her own. In order for that to be a subscription for not just me, for anybody, she would have to put out stuff every single day. And I'm not kidding. A Pilates class a day and a yoga class a day and a meditation a day. That is insane. That is insane. Again, make your money. But that's wild to me that she would charge that much money. But then I thought, when I was doing her yoga class on Peloton, I was thinking, hey, if 30 people spend the $30, then that's a good chunk of change, I'm not typing in 30 times 30. It's $900. So Attiah was fired for writing in one post, quote, refusing to tear my clothes and smear ashes on my face in a performative mourning for a white man that espoused violence is, ellipses, not the same as violence. That's funny. His wife, Charlie Kirk's wife, was doing the most when it comes to the death of her husband. The murder of her husband. He was murdered. There you go. That's as much as you'll get out of me. The Post said in Attiah's termination letter that her posts had harmed, quote, the integrity of the organization and violated standards requiring employees to use social media with civility and respect. Fuck that, Washington Post. Get out of here. That's some bullshit. The dispute went to arbitration under the Post labor agreement. Lawyers for the newspaper and Attiah presented their cases during a June hearing that included testimony from Attiah, then opinion editor Adam O'Neill. Oh, that's right, Adam O'Neill's gone. And Chief Human Resources Officer Wayne Connell. If anything, human resources is a bullshit part of every company, and they've never done anything. I do not like human resources people, and I hope you're listening. That includes people at Bounce TV. That includes people at 11 Alive News. They could all suck my butt. And I'll say it to their faces. Attiah argued that her social media commentary was part of her work as an opinion journalist and focused on the broader discourse surrounding political violence. Yes, correct. Espinosa ultimately sided with Attiah, finding the Post had not met the standard required to fire her. She was there for 11 years and served as founding editor of Global Opinions and later as an opinion columnist. She also previously edited, this is very important, Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi, who was murdered in 2018. If you remember that story, obviously. This is huge. This is big. And I really hope, last week, ABC said that, basically challenged the FCC and they're going to go to court. After, remember, previously settling with Disney as a whole, previously settling with Trump when George Stephanopoulos said something so innocuous and Trump took it to heart. We have to, and then after the taking Jimmy Kimmel off the air twice, we have to, and watching that poor man cry. It's my least favorite Jimmy Kimmel monologue. The first time I ever watched Jimmy Kimmel, it was the day after his Uncle Frank died. That was the first time I was like, oh, I heard this Jimmy Kimmel show is funny. Let me watch it. And his Uncle Frank died, and I happened to start watching it that day. Oh my God! And now Jelly Roll is guest hosting the show, and I will not watch this week because it's not going to be funny. But he talked about how much he lost 300 pounds. I think it is time for these companies and for these people to stand up to a man who is ultimately trying to be a dictator. No matter what happens in this world, no matter what he is saying, he's trying to be a dictator. And these people are finally I'm glad these judges are finally, doing something about it. And, if something, even if they go to court and something doesn't change, at least they went to court and they tried. Look at the Paramount Warner Brothers thing. They're going to court next year, and now David Ellison and his daddy Larry are footing the bill for $1 billion or so paying to the shareholders of Warner Brothers Discovery because they couldn't close a deal by September. Make these people pay. It does not matter what happens. Even if it only hurts them in the short run, do it. Punch them in the mouth. Because you know what happens when you don't hit them? You know what happens when and yes, I am talking about violence. You know what happens? You know what happens when you don't hit these young white men? They grow up to be Elon Musk and David Ellison and Larry Ellison and Donald Trump and the Trump brothers, or what's Eric and fucking Ted? I don't know his fucking name. Who's the nose candy guy? They grow up to be these fucking white dudes who think that the world is their oyster and that they're the victims. No, hit them in the mouth and keep hitting them over and over and over again. Okay. I'm done. Listen, if you like what you heard here, and I don't know why you wouldn't, head to the website cpluscomedy.com where you can see me talk to famous people sometimes. If you want to see a video version of those conversations under the interviews, as well as video versions of this podcast and the other podcasts, Late Night Lately, the Late Night Show, and The Constitutionals, the entertainment business news show. Go to youtube.com/C+Comedy. Subscribe to those shows wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on social media on Blue Sky, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram at C+Comedy. Me on those platforms at Chad Black White. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.